In this video, I'll show you how to set up a new studio on Jamright.com. So this is the homepage for Jamright.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how you go about registering and setting up your studio so that musicians and bands can find it and book rehearsal time. Click the register button on the toolbar at the bottom of the page and then click Studio. This form asks for the studio owner's contact details as well as that of the studio itself. Once completed, click Register. If you want to change this information later, you can. For instance, if you notice a mistake or want to add another telephone number. Once you've clicked Register, you will be sent a verification email. Simply click the link in the email to activate your account. Now your account has been verified, you can log in and set up your rehearsal rooms, time slots, and add extra detail to your Jamright Studio profile. After logging in, you'll see that the login button in the toolbar has changed to the words My Account and become highlighted. Click this button and then select Manage Studio. You will be taken to the Studio Management Console. The first time you visit the Management Console, you will see this welcome message which tells you there are 3 compulsory pieces of information that are required before you can make your studio visible to users of Jamright. First, you need to create at least one rehearsal room. Then you need to create time slots that musicians and bands can book. Lastly, you need to set up your studio's cancellation policy. Let's go ahead and set up the first room. Click the first link in the welcome message. You can give your rooms their own names. For now, we'll just call it Room 1. You can also provide a description for each room. For instance, you might want to add some detail about what equipment is in that room as standard, or the size of the room. Lastly, we need to make the room visible. This should only be done if there are slots available to book, but as we're about to create our slots, we'll set the room to visible now to save time later. Once done, click Save Changes and a green banner will appear confirming the room has been successfully created. This next screen gives you a summary of all your rooms. If you notice any mistakes, you can click the Edit icon on the right to be taken back to the previous screen to make your changes. If you have more rooms to set up, you can click the Create New Room button in the top left. Now we'll go ahead and create our first slot for our room. Click Manage Slots from the menu on the right. Select the first button in the top left to create a new slot. To create a slot, we need to select the room, the day of the week, the start and end time of the slot, and finally the price of the slot. Once done, click Save Changes to create the slot and be taken back to the slot summary page. Here we can see the slot we have just created. Again, you can click the Edit button on the right to go back and correct any mistakes. To make it easier to set up your slots, you can copy all the slots from a day to one or more days of the week. This is useful if you have the same slots on more than one day. Click Copy Entire Day at the top to do this. Select the room and the day of the week you wish to copy. As we have just the one room at the moment and just the one slot on a Monday, we can leave these as they are and go ahead and tick the days of the week we want the slots copied to. Click Process Copy to be taken back to the slot summary page and review the newly created slots. You can create multiple slots in a day. For instance, if your opening hours are different at the weekend. Click Create New Slot. In this example, we'll set up 2 slots on a Saturday and copy them to Sunday. First, we'll create an early slot, which we'll assume is not very popular, being in the middle of the day, so we'll set the price of this slot lower. Then we'll create a late slot, which, as it is a less convenient time for the studio owner, we'll set at a higher price. Once created, we'll go back and copy these 2 new slots from Saturday to Sunday. Here we can see all of our slots for the week. Let's say our studio has 2 rooms with the same slots. We can create a new room and simply copy Room 1 to Room 2 to save time. As we are already familiar with creating rooms in our studio, this section of the video has been sped up. First, we select Manage Rooms from the menu on the right and then click Create New Room in the top left. Like before, we give our room a name and a description, set it to visible, then click Save Changes. Next we select Manage Slots from the menu on the right, then click Copy Entire Room in the centre at the top of the page. We select which room we want to copy from and which room to copy to, and then click Process Copy. Now we can see both our rooms and all of our slots for the week. The final step before we can make our studio visible is to set up our cancellation policy. Select Cancellation Policy from the menu on the right. The cancellation settings determine what the users are charged should they cancel a confirmed booking with your studio. If you have to cancel a confirmed booking, the users will get a full refund. This might happen if you've taken a telephone booking for a slot, but not yet made this slot unavailable from within the Jamright Management Console. Making slots unavailable is covered in another video. Jamright currently allows up to 5 tiers of cancellation policy. In this example, we'll set the cancellation policy so that any user cancellations within 24 hours of the scheduled slot start time are charged the full fee. If cancelled between 24 and 48 hours, a 50% fee is charged, and cancellations made more than 48 hours in advance will be charged no fee. That is, they will receive a full refund. Please note that any changes you make to your cancellation policy will affect all existing bookings. Once we've clicked Save Changes at the bottom of the cancellation policy page, we will have completed the 3 steps required to make the studio visible. However, before doing so, it's a good idea to add a little more detail to your studio's profile page, as this is what will be seen by users when they find your studio on Jamright prior to booking a slot. Select Display Settings from the menu on the right. Enter some information in the description box. This is the first piece of information users will read after they find your studio, so it's a good idea to make it informative. Next, you can enter your opening hours. This is important because although you've set up your rooms and slots, Jamright has the ability to allow you to create ad hoc custom slots. So if a user knows your opening hours, they will know it's possible to request a slot that falls outside of your predefined slots. Creating custom slots is covered in another video. The Backlines section allows you to specify what equipment is available at your studio. Jamright has the functionality to allow you to hire out your backline equipment if you so wish. Setting up and hiring out your backline equipment and other ancillaries is covered in another video. Finally, there are 3 switches that you can set to yes or no to show users whether you have parking, snacks and drinks, and internet access at your studio. Once done, click Save Changes. The setup of the studio is now complete and you're ready to set it to visible so that users can find and book rehearsal slots at your studio. Before doing so, we'll take a quick look at the booking diary, as this is the screen you will now see by default when you log into the Jamright Management Console in future. Click the Calendar tab in the very top left of the page. Here you will see the rooms in the studio and available slots of today's date. Because the time this video is being recorded is after the start time of the latest slot, the calendar for each room shows as empty. We can use the buttons in the top right to change the date. Because this video is being recorded on a Friday, when we click the right arrow to go forward one day, we're taken to Saturday, and therefore we can see both slots we've created for each room. Grey coloured slots are slots that are available to be booked by users. Managing slot bookings and their colourings are covered in another video. We're ready to go ahead and make the studio visible on Jamright. Click the Yes/No slider in the bottom right to make the studio visible. A warning message will pop up asking you to confirm that you want to proceed. Once you click Proceed, the studio will be visible and you are confirming you are ready to start accepting bookings via Jamright. Let's log out and see what the studio looks like on Jamright. Click the icon in the top right that looks like a grey coloured circle with a black cross in the middle. Hovering the mouse over these icons will reveal a label telling you what each of them does. The search box on the Jamright homepage allows users to find a studio by name, town or postcode. As a user types, all the matches are displayed below. This list will get shorter the more is typed into the box as studios are filtered out. You don't need to keep typing until the studio you want is the only selection. You can click any of the results at any time to go to that studio's page. And here we have our newly created studio. You'll recognise the information we entered while setting up the studio. The contact information we entered when first registering the studio is displayed along the right side of the page. Jamright automatically creates a small Google Maps view of your address which users can expand, for example if they want to get driving directions to the studio. Let's click Book Now in the top right of the page so we can see the booking process from the user's point of view. The first screen is a calendar so the user can select their desired date for the booking. As this video is being recorded in the evening, we'll skip forward to tomorrow, which is a Saturday. The next step shows both the rooms in the studio and the available slots. Multiple slots can be booked at once. Once the desired selection is made, we click Continue to proceed. The next step is where we can select which backline equipment we would like to hire with our slots. As we haven't yet set up any backline equipment for hire, we'll just click Continue to proceed. This is the summary page and is the final step of the booking process before payment. If everything is as expected, this is the point the user would log in or register and then enter their card details for payment. Please see our other videos for a closer look at the booking process.